Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So let's talk about something I like to call right hand not talking with left hand. So let's talk about inflation and what the states are doing and how it's counterintuitive to what Fed Chair Powell is trying to do. So let's talk about this and let's talk about how it's affecting Bitcoin markets and everything else in between. Let's get started. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and make sure you follow my other channels as well. Good evening, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, today is a pretty good day. Pretty good day overall. Bitcoin is back above 20,000, 20,300. That's good. It's also hovering above this trend line, which is also good. The U.S. market today was down slightly, but pre-market for tomorrow looking green. So far, things are looking good, right? Right? Well, yeah, maybe. But what about inflation? It seems like people are so focused on the Fed pivot and somehow it seems like everyone's forgotten about inflation. Inflation has not gone away. Look at this, $8 for a head of lettuce. That's how bad it is in Australia. I have a lot of people from Australia watching. Restaurants, their food has gone up 15, 20, 25%. And it's not just Australia. I don't know if you guys notice or have gone shopping recently or ordered anything. Man, food prices are so much higher than before. Like way, way higher than just a few years ago, okay? Inflation is affecting everyone right now. This is why Fed Chair Powell is so desperate at trying to stabilize prices, price stability. That's his number one mission. And he's going to do that or attempt to do that by curbing inflation, right? And how is he going to curb inflation? He needs to decrease demand. He needs to have people not spend as much. Basically, he wants people to become more broke, okay? So he wants people to start or stop spending money. And eventually that's going to lead to decreased buying and hopefully cause inflation to go down, right? That's the whole thing. We've been covering this for the entire year. Since the beginning of the year, we've been talking about for 10 months, right? You guys get it. That is what he's doing. He wants to make people broke. Well, you can't make people broke when the states are now declaring, well, everyone is already too broke, so let's give them some money, right? So I saw this on Twitter and I had to talk about it. California will start handing out a stimulus payment up to $1,050 this week to combat inflation. And that's actually exactly what Governor Newsom said in his press release here. And this was back in June 30th, right? Number one, cha-ching. You just received a deposit. Global inflation, rising costs. It's hard out there, we know. We're giving back $9.5 billion, okay? So he knows, Governor Newsom knows, inflation is sky high. Now, I get it. A lot of these guys, a lot of these governors want to get reelected, right? So they have to look good before election. So they have to try to do what they can to try to help their citizens. And I get it. Some people do actually really need it. There are a lot of people that's really struggling right now. But when you're enabling, right, you keep giving out and you're enabling certain people to just stay at home and not need to get a job and actually spend even more because they're getting more money. Well, this is counterintuitive to what Powell is trying to do, which is trying to stomp demand and stomp inflation, right? And it's not just California. Someone just mentioned it in a live chat. Pennsylvania Their governor is trying to push a $2,000 stimulus check, right? So it's happening. And it's not just Pennsylvania and California. So I saw this article, state stimulus checks. I mean, it goes through on and on. You know, California, Colorado. Colorado will get $750. Delaware will get $300. Florida will get $450. Georgia will be getting $375 or $500. Hawaii could get up to $1,200. Idaho, and then Illinois. And I mean, like, it's on and on and on and on, right? So, bottom line, this is something that's probably making Powell stay up at night, because he's wondering, you know, how it's just like they're not talking, right? The Fed is going down this path, and the states are declaring they're going down this path, and the two paths are complete opposites of each other, right? So how is Powell going to how is he going to win? How is he going to combat inflation, basically, right? How is this going to end? And many people feel like Powell is already doing too much. Look at this. Another billionaire already calls the Fed to pull back on its interest rates, saying that the economy will crumble if the rates aren't lowered. But how do you expect Powell to lower rates when everyone is still out and about and buying as much as they can, and it's causing prices to go up and up and up, right? How do you expect him to do his job? It's an impossible task, right? So, yeah. And then look at this headline right here. You know, on Market Watch, they always have these, like, people, like, I guess Q&A, people submit questions in terms of asking for help. I'm paycheck to paycheck. I make $350,000 a year, but I have 88,000 student loans. Okay, that's understandable. 170,000 in car loans. That's not acceptable. And I pay $4,500 a month with mortgage. Well, $4,500 a month. That's a lot. But okay, if you're making $350,000, okay, I guess whatever. But 170,000 in car loans. And you wonder why car prices are so high, because people continue to buy and buy and buy, and they can't really help themselves sometimes, right? So, bottom line is, I feel like everyone needs to come together and form a plan. You can't just have the Fed try to do something and the states do something else and they're not aligned. And if that's the case, then when is this ever going to end, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I felt like compelled I have to talk about it. You know, it may not be the most most entertaining topic, but you know, it's just these guys need to come together. You just have people that's just going against each other. So I don't know. All right. Besides all this nonsense, right? The good news is DXY is coming down. So that's important. This morning we were up a little bit to like 111, 112 or something. We have come back down a little bit. So obviously DXY coming down is a good thing. And maybe it's coming down because a lot of people are starting to realize that fixing inflation is an impossible thing, and that the dollar shouldn't be as strong as it is. I don't know. I don't know actually why it came down. But the good news is whenever DXY does come down, right, it's good for Bitcoin. And we have seen periods where DXY tops out, comes down in a big way, and guess what happens? The next bull run for Bitcoin starts. Look at the arrows, right? Look at some of these previous, like the black arrow back in 2018. DXY came down. Guess what happened? Bitcoin went on a tremendous run. Are we going to see DXY come down again? If so, are we ready for that next tremendous run? It's about time. Right? So that leads me to this. We have just begun the best time of the year for Bitcoin. It's October. October traditionally is very, very good. Very good indeed. You look at the right-hand side. I'm taking my camera away. You can see October generally With the exception of 2018, we had a little bit down. 2014, a big down. But other than that, man, we're talking about 20, 30, 50, 40% gains, right? And seeing how brutal it has been so far this year, can we see a tremendous rally in October, heading into November or December, right? Especially if the DXY is coming down. And with the Santa rally around the corner, well, these are all good things. And I've talked about, for those of you guys that follow the full moon, we just passed the autumn equinox. And traditionally speaking, historically speaking, I should say, after autumn equinox, Bitcoin goes like this. Okay, so these are all great signs right now that show that Bitcoin is ready. It's ready, especially with all this nonsense, right? Even if you discount everything I've said about historical returns or you know, models and fundamentals and all these things, right? But just look at what's going on around the world with inflation, what the Fed and central banks, what governments are trying to do right now. They're all running around with their heads cut off. No one is on the same. There's no communication. No one is communicating with each other. No one has a plan, really. And it's just really screwy at this point. All right. What else is there? Bitcoin outperforms traditional crypto stocks in 2022. Another reason why, if you want Bitcoin exposure, just buy Bitcoin. Rather than try to get exposure through Coinbase or Riot or even MicroStrategy. Bitcoin has outperformed pretty much all of them in 2022. So if you want Bitcoin exposure, just buy Bitcoin. And it's better to just buy and hold Bitcoin. So far, that's been true. That's been true. And then lastly, this is just showing oversold levels for Bitcoin using RSI. And again, we're at the same point as 2015 when Bitcoin hit that bottom and it stood there for quite some time. 2018 and 20, same thing, maybe not as long, but right now, same thing, right? We got a lot of on-chain metrics, models, indicators, moving averages that all indicate Bitcoin is ready to move up. And then you add on top of that the full moon. You add on top of that the DXY coming down. You add on top of that, people are just getting restless and distrustful in the governments, right? You add all it together, means one thing for Bitcoin. All right, outside of those things, what else? I did see some good news about VeChain. VeChain released their financial report. Interesting. I thought only Ripple did that, but VeChain also does it. And they report they have $535 million in crypto reserves. So that's pretty good. They're pretty healthy. And, of course, they're still growing, trying to grow. And recently they did do 700,000 transactions in less than 3 hours for Walmart. That's pretty darn good. Yes, they do have a partnership with Walmart. They have a partnership with pretty much all the big boys out there. So fantastic stuff for VeChain. I still like to see them grow their DeFi ecosystem. Still very, very weak, but there will be more coming. Also, I did see this. Near partners up with Google Cloud to accelerate Web 3.0 startups. So according to this, Google Cloud will provide technical support for Near grant recipients. So Near is going to be giving some grants to people that want to build on top of Near, and Google Cloud will provide support. Most likely it's because it's just being hosted on Google. You know, whenever I see partnership with Google Cloud, I take it with a grain of salt because I truly wonder how much of this is just utilizing Google Cloud for storage and compute, and that's it, right? So I don't know, but anyways, I think it's still a pretty good announcement. Pretty good announcement. All right, that is pretty much it. Look at Bitcoin pump even more. 20,400. The George effect is in right now. And things are good. What else is there to say? Look, this morning we were at 900 and I think it was 950 billion. We're at 970 billion, getting close to 1 trillion once again. right? That is amazing mark, 1 trillion if you think about it. The people's currency is closing in at 50 cents. And Uniswap is up pretty good today. That's just small greens here and there. Helium is up pretty good today. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Majestic Fox, I did see that. I actually skipped over it. But yeah, this is not going to help inflation either. OPEC decides to cut oil production when Biden has been urging them to increase production. So lower number of I don't know how many barrels of oil, like millions of barrels of oil, however much they produce, right? We're going to see less of that, which means oil prices will go up, which means gas and manufacturing of plastics and everything else will go up, which means inflation's going to go up, which means Powell has to be more aggressive, right? So, I mean, this could be the reason why DXY went down, actually, now that I think about it. All right, let's see here. Lambo payment. Probably right. Probably is a Lambo payment. You're talking about this guy right here. Where's that guy? Oh, maybe I closed it. No, this guy right here. 170,000 car loan. Now you can't buy a Lambo with that. What's a good low cap that can 10x in October? None. None. Let's see here. Are you in a simulation? We might all be in a simulation, so who knows? Jalamas, you don't have chilies in your portfolio, just saying. I don't know if I want to add chilies today. So today is DCA day. Floor price during the next bull run, I think 160K. The floor price usually is what the peak of the last cycle is. So depending on how high we go this next bull cycle, could be 100, could be 150, could be 200,000, right? So I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on how high we go. All right, let's do some DCA here. So I brought it up already. So minus 42%, not good. I think it's a little bit higher than last week. Last week was like minus 45%. So obviously things have not moved as much as we would like. It moved up a little bit, but not too much. What am I missing here? I do like Flow a lot. I think they have a lot of potential, especially when NFTs come back. I added a little EOS. They haven't done anything yet. Waiting for them to change. Chainlink had some good news recently. I'm pretty heavy already in Solana, Polygon, BNB. BNB is a little light. Cardano, Cosmos, VeChain, VeChain Avalanche, a little light. Cadena. This is a hard one. I feel like I don't have anything here in I don't have enough in DeFi, I feel like. Chili's has been on fire for the last 90 days, 100%. They have been doing really well. Helium is also coming back in a big way. You can see last 30 days up 47%. You know, they're making traction now. I like Helium. I've always liked Helium. I might stock up with them more. Do I have Helium? I did not. All right, you know what? I'll just put half-half. I'll put half in Helium and half in Helium and half in Chili's. I'll do that. HNT. All right, let's do $50. So 8.912. And then add Chili's. All right, 228. All right. So I added two new ones to this portfolio. Chili's and Helium. So we'll see. We'll see. If you guys are new, I built this last year, end of June. So it's been more than a year. We had some good up and downs. Obviously not so good right now, but we'll continue to put $100 in every Wednesday night, and we will ride this to the moon together to prove a point that DCA over long haul works. All right. What else is there? Let's scroll up here. All right, you guys trying to trick me into adding some Luna Classic. If Credit Suisse goes bankrupt next week, how much would it affect crypto? I would say a lot. I think we would have some sort of market meltdown just due to fear and probably a lot of leverage in the system that will be wiped out. So let's hope that Credit Suisse doesn't go under. Maybe they get bought out. Maybe they get bailed out. Let's just hope they don't just all of a sudden disappear. That would be bad. Very, very bad. I'm suffering from premature accumulation. That's pretty funny. Tesla, Tesla has sold off quite a lot. More so than usual. And it could be because, number one, they did miss out on some deliveries. And number two is Elon is going through with that the Twitter purchase. So I don't know if he has to sell any more stock. He already sold a lot before. So Tesla's down to 240. Yeah, they're actually, I think they're pretty cheap. But you know who I really think is cheap? I'm really bullish on is Ford. If you listen to Jim Farley and everything he's been saying, he really wants to transform Ford to a true Tesla killer. And not just like speaking through words, but actually taking action, right? And I really think Ford can really transform themselves in a big way. And they're relatively cheap at $50 billion. So Tesla's more than 10 times bigger than they are. But if they continue to produce really good cars and go with the direct-to-consumer model, I think they have a really good shot of making a big comeback. Model Y long range or performance in terms of ride quality. I'm going to assume performance will ride a little bit harsher than the long range because they modified the suspension as an inch lower. Model Y rides okay. It rides pretty smooth, but it gets bumpy. when you go over bumps and imperfections, it does get bumpy. So all Teslas are like that. Teslas just don't have really smooth suspension. Will crypto always have bear markets, or will we see price stability? We will eventually, but keep in mind, I mean, when there's like horrible macro stuff going on, no matter how big crypto is or how big Bitcoin is, it will get affected too. I mean, look at like gold. You know, even gold goes down with a 12 trillion market cap. So we probably won't have the same kind of drops, like a 90% drop for alts. Probably won't happen as the space matures and gets bigger. But we'll always have some up and downs for sure. Alan Mashinsky was on Twitter Live tonight? Really? He had a Twitter Spaces? That would have been, man, that would have been real harsh. I actually want to listen to that. I want to find that. I don't know what the point is for him. Is he trying to explain his $10 million cash out? I don't know what Twitter Live is. Is it different from Twitter Spaces? F-150 when towing only gets a third of the mileage. Okay. Alex, who, ex-CEO of Celsius. Yeah, when it came out that he was actually trading with people's crypto because they didn't have enough liquidity, like they had all this ETH locked in and they couldn't withdraw it, and then he started to trade with people's crypto. That's when he was really desperate and something that he was not supposed to do, right? That's worse than, say, investing in Terra and having a collapse. When do you think we'll see 40K again? You know what? If we have a pretty good run going into the latter half of December, getting into that Christmas, New Year's time, let's say we have a really good run and we could get back to 30K. You know what? We may push past 30K and maybe briefly touch 40K. It's a small, very tiny, small off chance, but I could see it happen. We have seen some crazy movement before, right in November to December. We have seen it plenty of times. So can it happen this time? Probably not, because of all the macro stuff that's going on. Inflation is still sky high, and there's still a lot of war issues going on, especially if Putin throws a nuke out or something like that. And I don't know what North Korea is doing, firing missiles. I mean, if something disastrous happens, everything will come down. But if not, and we just have a good sustained rally and get some momentum, hey, maybe we could push into 30K, no problem. And then if we get past that, you know what's after 30K? 40K. Wisdom. Keep them poor, don't teach them how to fish. Yeah. So what would you rather? What would you rather have? A fish or learn how to fish? I would say learn how to fish, right? But that's not what schools teach you. That's not what governments teach you, and certainly not what banks teach you. Okay? Banks want you to take the fish. Banks want you to borrow fish. Never pay back what you owe. Just keep borrowing more fish. That's how they make money, right? And they want you trapped. And that's the unfortunate thing. But the thing is, some people learn and break out of it. And the more people learn, the more people they get fed up, and they don't quite understand how the government and banks and financial institutions can operate the way they do. especially on a bigger, grander scale, like the Fed and the Treasury, right? Like, it disgusts people. I need a whale, not how to fish. No, that's not what you want. You want to learn how to fish or how to whale, how to harpoon. Would you choose this Tundra or Sequoia? Hey, it depends on if you like trucks or not. Sequoia is definitely a lot more practical because you get 3 rows of seats and you can haul things back there. But the Tundra is also pretty darn good too, especially if you want to move furniture or take trips to Home Depot. You got a lot of mulch to carry or whatever, right? It's up to you. I think they're both good. They're both pretty good. Is it safe to connect to your accounts and portfolio tracking apps? Generally speaking, yes, but for me, I never do. I'm suspicious of it, so I just input everything. I never connect it. Hey, whales need some love too, Crypto Wealth. Why don't I have a cold wallet? I do. I didn't say I don't. I mix my wallets. I don't use one wallet. I spread out crypto through like 5 or 6 different wallets. So you don't have to just use one, but you know, having a cold wallet is inconvenient at times, right? So I think a mobile wallet is kind of the in between, very convenient. Thanks for constantly reinforcing DCM mindset. I mean, you're welcome, and it's the only way. I've learned over the years, it's truly the only way to win at any kind of investing. Not just Bitcoin and crypto, but it certainly works for Bitcoin and crypto, but with any kind of investing. You have to have patience. You buy when other people are fearful. You buy when things are low. It could be painful, but that's when you want to keep going. You don't want to give up. You don't want to fall for a trap of always FOMOing in that top. That's not how you make money. And take the guessing work out of it. That's why you just DCA and schedule. Schedule and DCA, and that's it, and HODL. We need XRP news. I'm not familiar with XRP. I'm only familiar with the people's currency. And I don't really have any. I haven't heard much about the case. So, but overall, it's doing fine recently. All right. I'd say it's time to call it a day. Overall, get ready for more stimulus checks, especially if you're in California, and several other states are giving them out. I know short term, many people probably will appreciate it, will think that it's great getting free money, but in the long run, with the bigger picture, it's definitely harming and is going against what Powell's trying to do, which is trying to curb demand to decrease inflation. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but what I do know is we need to stock more Bitcoin. We definitely need to stock up on more Bitcoin. All right, guys, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. And here's a little information about the people's currency.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.